to the point where 1/3 of California small businesses will never reopen. 1/3. Many of the things that Gavin Newsom did had nothing whatever to do with science. You've heard me interview small business owners who said he imposed lockdowns and mandates and then loosened them and then reimposed them and then loosened them so nobody knew what the hell to do. The science suggested that schools could have remained open. We already have a situation where 75% of black kids in California cannot read at state levels of proficiency. Nearly half of all kids in California cannot read at state levels of proficiency, and yet schools were shut down for a full year. And the left is always talking about leveling the playing field, making sure that things are equal. How in the world are you going to get equal when you have prevented black kids, Hispanic kids, from having in-school learning for over a year, and everybody knows this video learning is not the same. This is a state where you drive around in a city like LA, Bay Area, underneath an overpass, on the left and on the right, a whole bunch of homeless people, one after another, after another, after another, posing threats to their safety, to the safety of the non-homeless. It's non-hygienic. And then don't get me started on crime. Crime up dramatically in cities in LA. Year to year, shooting victims up 50% in LA. Burglary victims up 50% in the Bay Area. And what does he do? He goes to the French Laundry with lobbyists and his medical advisors, the very ones who created the mandates that they were sitting there violating while not wearing masks and not engaging in social distancing, while telling you to wear a mask and telling you to engage in social distancing. Meanwhile, his own kid, in-school private learning, his own business, exempted from the very mandates that he imposed on everybody else. This man has got to go. And then beyond that, this is a state, California, with all these brilliant people, all these people in Silicon Valley. And we have rolling blackouts, brownouts, because they can't keep the power on. This is a city right next to the Pacific Ocean, and we're running out of water. We can't figure out how to keep water from running off into the ocean. We can't figure out how to install desalination plants. Are you kidding me? And don't get me started on the finances. Well, Larry, there's a surplus. Really? Surplus is half what he said it is, and a surplus simply means the state took in more money that particular year than they spent. Has nothing to do with how much they spent and why they spent it. And you think maybe, just maybe, when you got a surplus, you're overtaxing people? You ever think about that? 13.3% state income tax, highest in the nation. And by the way, roughly 50% of the state's budget comes out of the state income tax. Now, 1%, not a typo, not a joke, man, not a joke. 1%, you know the thing, 1% of households in California account for 50% of the state income taxes, which, as I said, is 50% of the overall state budget. So you mess with the rich people, stock market goes down, there's a recession, and the state automatically begins to hemorrhage money because, let's face it, when you depend on that tiny group of people who are mobile, they can leave. And many are. And this is what's going on in this state. And they want to tax people even more.